lockdown learnings, with many people refusing to cremate the bodies of the persons who died of COVID 19, even if they were their loved ones. It was up to the hospital administration to give them respectful last rites. Talking to me today is Mandar Oltikar with his team of RSS volunteers taking care and giving respectful last rites to COVID patients in the city of Nasik. Mandarji, welcome to Lockdown Learnings. It's really humbling and a great privilege to talk to you on Lockdown Learnings. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Very difficult to take up, as in to cremate COVID victims. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, basically, ma'am, I'm a volunteer of Rashtriya Sanchak Sangha. See, in the past, from last 90 years, whenever there is a necessity, Sangha stood there for the society to serve the society. In this pandemic also, actually we started with helping people with ration kit and medical that we help the migrants. Our government officials approached us and they asked us, there is a situation that there are deaths due to corona, and the patients relatives are not willing to take the bodies.
Right.
Or sometime what happens, all the relatives are quarantined.
Right.
So in that case, what happened? The body is in the morgue, and nobody is there to look after that. So they asked us, "Are you? Can we help them?"
Right.
So we discussed among our team, and we decided that yes, we should go ahead. And the last journey of the person should be in proper manner.
Very respectful.
And we took up that challenge.
Right. Absolutely. When the hospitals approached you, what was the kind of situation? What was the kind of pressure that the hospitals were going through? And we were under the impression that the bodies were not handed out to the families.
There was a situation that there were bodies, but nobody was there to look after their last journey. The relatives of the patient either they are afraid of the corona, or they are not willing to take possession of that body, or the all relatives are quarantined. So there was nobody. And manpower in the hospital, especially government hospital, we call it civil hospital. There is very limited manpower which is fighting, and which is those people are serving to the patients.
Right.
So there was a big question that what should we do with these bodies?
How many were there at the time when you actually stepped in?
Actually, I can't exactly say the number, but initially they just told us that there is a situation and we are panicked, we are helpless.
Right.
So we just say yes, and we entered.
Can you recall the first instance, it's very sad to say body all the time, but can you remember the first experience of cremation when you did it?
We had a training session. We have Dr. Bharat Kelkar. After that, the first incidents on 24th May, there was a call from civil hospital at about 1:30 p.m. So it was a May summer. As we reached there, civil hospital, we were not prepared actually. What we were planning, there should be a team of 6 persons. 4 will be the actual team, and 2 will assist them. But on 24th, we were 2 only. So Dr. Kelkar told us, okay, let's do it 2 people, and I will assist you. So we reached to civil hospital. They gave us the PPE kit. At that time, my experience was that was the first time we wear PPE kit and all these things.
Right.
So at that time, the outside temperature was around about 38 degrees centigrade.
Wow.
And when we wear that PPE kit, the inside temperature was something 54 to 56 degree.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
And imagine our doctors are in PPE kits entire day for 24 to 14-hour shifts when they are working.
We went to that staff and we told them that we are volunteers from RSS and we are here to take the body. So at that time we came to know the patient was Muslim.
Oh.
And we were told that you have to do the cremation.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a relative of that patient, so he was insisting, no, no, it should be according to our culture and rituals, all these things.
Of course.
So
Mm.
that that moment we took the decision, okay, yaar, this is his last journey and we should respect his culture.
Wow.
Then we took the body and we traveled for half an hour to reach their center, and we did everything according to their culture and
Mm-hmm.
their expectations. After
Wow.
4 hours we came back, and we were like, yaar, kuch to kiya zindagi mein, we did something for the society. It was the feeling.
Wow. So it was very under difficult conditions that you actually had to
Yeah,
give,
yeah, yeah.
but the satisfaction of giving a respectful last rites also to a person who is different from your religion. So, what was the kind of reaction you got from their family members?
To tell them ki yaar, we are human first.
Yes, I think that is their kind of signal, and that is also what humanity is all about. We step up for each
Yes,
other, no matter what our political affiliations are. At the end of the day, we are humans, and we belong to
yeah,
the same motherland, and we are brother and sister in true sense. So,
yeah, sure.
hats off to the kind of dedication. I was saying, who are these people? Are these poor people, illiterate people who don't come to claim the bodies, or they are these normal, regular people like you and I who are just simply afraid? I mean, I understand if they are quarantined and but I'm sure their relatives should come, right? Has it ever happened that nobody has come?
Yeah, basically the class is mixed. Means poor people are also there, middle class also there. Um See, there is a lot of fear. I can tell you a last incident yesterday, day before yesterday, when I was there. There was one relative who came by nearby village to take the body, and he was alone. So civil hospital calls us here. He is alone, and we have to help him. So we reached there, and he was so surprised. Ki, who are these people and why they are helping me? And after doing all the things, he just bowed down and start crying. He told me that I have 125 to 150 relatives in Nasik city,
Oh my
but
God.
I called everybody but nobody came. And I don't know who you are, we don't have any relation, and you came. I just told him, yeah, we are relatives, we are from same motherland, we are part of same society, and we have to help each other. After doing the cremation, we were quarantined for 3 days.
Okay.
And now we have a team of 36 volunteers.
Wow.
Six batches. And every time when the batch goes there and do that thing, uh, we send them for quarantine for 36 hours now.
Okay, so after each cremation, so you guys must be working in teams and in sort of
Yeah,
groups, so that there is
yeah.
always a circulation. Since the fears are grave, do you really think the mortality rate, is it just going up, or are you seeing there is a control in the numbers now?
The mortality rate is going up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. Means I can tell you from in last week only we did 11 cremations.
What were the reactions of your family members? Because it needs a lot of courage to day in, day out, see the bodies, cremate them. It must be very exhausting for you also. I mean, not just physically, not just the heat and the temperature and the PPE kit, but to see people around mourning and in depression and in fear. It must be even taking a toll on you.
Every time when we enter in the hospital, entire atmosphere is so depressing. There are COVID patients. What are we realize that they are waiting for their death.
Oops.
It's so sad, and nobody around them. Means
Oh,
especially when they are in isolation, in 10 by 10 room, and in front of them when we get the body and come outside, it, it's really painful for us also कि यार what that person is thinking at the time कि
yeah.
यार
Oh
अगला
my
नंबर
God.
मेरा तो नहीं आएगा.
Yeah. Oh
Like
God.
that. About our mental state, now we are used to it, but we have to gather the courage and everything.
Right.
And it was our precondition for all volunteers that you should get permission from your family. So my family is used to कि, okay ये बंदा जाएगा और आएगा वापस. Yeah,
That
and
needs
they also,
immense courage and inner strength and the kind of dedication towards service, and it doesn't come easy, especially in times like this. People are only thinking about oneself and the safety and their own safety and their own family, and it really needs tons of courage to go beyond your own capacity and go out there and help. My salute to really all of you who are doing this. What is the kind of message that you would like to give people through our conversation today?
see, basically now, you used a very nice word. This is our motherland. And going further, I will say this is my society. So to serve my motherland and to serve my society is my duty. And while going around as a citizen, it is also my duty to take all necessary precautions whenever it is most necessary.
Yeah.
I should leave the home.
Right.
These precautions we should take so that we can fight with that corona, or I can say we can live with that corona.
Mandar, it was really very truly humbling to speak to you, and with so much of deaths and so much of depression around, I don't know how you find the courage to do what you are doing. And really, thank you very much for speaking to me today, taking time out. A big salute and a big thank you. I think the government of India also, missed showering petals on all new heroes who have been it is. And I know, even when I was talking to Mangesh ji, who connected us, he
Yeah,
was saying, I don't think we are doing any great job, and I really don't think that
exactly,
we need
exactly.
to be interviewed. I said, this is the least that I could do, then I could just bring out the story. So our Shat Shat Pranam, Mandarji, thank you very much for joining on
Thank you.
Lockdown Learnings. It has been truly very humbling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.